Digital Talk Radio.
Welcome and thanks for joining me. I'm Cindy Laverty, and you're listening to The Cindy Laverty Show, where each week we talk about and explore the subject of care, how we care for ourselves so we can better care for each other. And last week, if you were listening, I launched the My Care movement on Facebook. It's just starting out small, and really, My Care movement is just about how we do tiny little things each day that make us just be rooted and focused on the subject of care. So I would encourage you to go to Facebook, look up My Care movement, and hit the like button. And then we're going to take this out bigger, share it with your friends, and let's get this growing, because I think we need a care movement in America really badly. I'm not going to babble on here this morning because I want to get right to my guest. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and even though we've made huge strides in the treatment of breast cancer, still 1 in 8 women, 12% of the United States will develop an invasive breast cancer. That's a pretty big statistic. My guest today is Joyce O'Brien, and she is the author of Choose to Live. But her story is not like any other story that you've ever read or heard about. She's a miracle. I read a lot of books. I read some really good books. I read some not so good books. And some books make you sit up, take notice, and change the way you live your life. And I think that this book has probably done that for me. Choose to Live is just Joyce's very, very powerful story that she's going to share with you today. Joyce O'Brien, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Well, wow. All I can say is wow, and I will never, ever complain again. We have to start at the beginning, but I want to move through this, so that people understand the depth and the breadth of what your life was like. I mean, you were a young woman in your early 30s, married, happily married, and suddenly the carpet gets pulled out from under your life. Right?
Yes, to say the least.
I mean, one beautiful spring morning in New York, you got the call. So tell us about that. And then, if we have to go to break, we'll finish up about this story, because people have to understand what happened to you. So tell us about the call about Kevin.
Sure. So it was a gorgeous spring morning, and it was March 1st, and I was leaving for work. I had a very successful career down on Wall Street, so I was always up and out early, pretty much a workaholic, and we were a young couple living the American dream, working really hard, having fun with our friends, traveling, and just working towards starting our family, right, and having a home. And I went to work, as I did every other day, at the crack of dawn, and I received a phone call not too long after I arrived, and it was from a voice that I didn't recognize. And it took me a minute to realize that it was actually my husband. Mm-hmm. And I had left him that morning. He was asleep on the couch because he had been out the night before, and I thought he didn't want to wake me up when he came in, so I thought, okay, maybe he, is a little bit hungover. And when you're early 30s, that's just could be given.
Right.
And after a minute or two, I realized that he wasn't, and he said he was feeling a little funny and feeling a little numb. So the first thing we did was call my parents. What else do you do when you're in your early 30s?
Right. And
they said, call the doctor. So we called the doctor, and he said, well, it's probably just a pinched nerve. Give it a couple of minutes, 15, 30 minutes, and give me a call back. And we did, and it hadn't changed. And he said, well, you're going to have an ambulance come.
Right. Joyce, we got to finish this on the other side of the break. Stay with us. You're listening to Cindy Laverty Show. I'll be right back. I found the